Welcome to the Wolf and the Doctor podcast. I'm your host, Glenn Curry, alongside my co-host, Dr. John Devereaux.
And this is going to be a conversation for the books, just because I know we both have a lot of experience in this area. And once again, I'm kind of springing this topic on you, and you don't have any clue what we're going to be talking about. Maybe I should. So wait. So should I stop doing that? Like,
I like it because it really does get my real, time reaction. So I like it.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'd be going for too. And the funny part is a lot of this stuff actually comes from stuff that you post on social media.
Okay.
So, so you posted something, I want to say maybe like a week and a half ago. It was after the last time we recorded, and I screenshot it. So you said, and I'm gonna quote you on this. I'm gonna put my phone up so I got the receipts. So you said the things I'm never cheap on is haircuts and hygiene products. Yeah. And what I really want to talk about today is appearance in business as a business owner working a 9-to-5. So I'm going to give our quote of the week, which is more so a statistic, and then I want to jump into that conversation.
All right, let's
go. The quote is, it takes 27 seconds to make a good impression. It takes 27 seconds to make a good first impression, and then 55% of first impressions are based on what people see. So appearance has always been like very big. So let's just start there. I want to get your take on it.
As far as what, do I think that appearance is important or what?
Yeah, let's even just start there, set the baseline, and then we'll kind of let the conversation escalate from there.
You know what? Yeah, no, appearance is the most important thing because that's the single-handed thing that someone judges you off of before they even meet you, right? Pretty much people could sum you up in about 30 seconds based on what you wear.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's important that you set that standard of, how you look and how you are perceived to other people, right? But then you get people on the other hand who are like, well, I'm going to make sure I'm me, and I'm not going to, try to fit anybody else's, vision of who I should be. But I think it's the total opposite, though. We live in a world that's constantly judging you off of everything that you do, and sometimes you have to adjust, right? And I'm not saying change, but just adjust to any current situation, right? You want to make sure that because of the way that you're dressed doesn't lock you out of some doors that you may be able to walk through.
Okay, stop right there. So, because I've known you for how long have we known each other? We have to go back to
I want to say, man, almost 10 years. Because I've known you as long as I've known my wife.
Okay, so 10 years. And what's interesting about having the shared history is we've both seen the evolution of each other right. over those 10 years, especially in terms of our appearance. Yeah. When I first met you, you had long dreads, right?
Yeah.
So I remember a conversation that we had once before, and it was right before you were getting ready to graduate, and you were contemplating cutting your dreads because you were getting ready to go into the business setting.
Yeah.
So as you were just talking about people wanting to kind of stay true to themselves and not be, into a box, how important was it or that decision for you to cut your hair because you felt that it wouldn't fit in, I guess, the corporate setting?
Yeah, man, I think, dude, that was a tough one because here's the thing, right? In a perfect world, we aren't judged by the color of our skin, the appearance, all of that, right? That's a perfect world. In the real world, that isn't the case. So you have to adjust to your environment. And here I am, I'm a college student, right? I've done my 4 years, I've putting in work, and I'm getting ready to graduate. The last thing that I want is for my hair to stand in the way of opportunity, or my appearance to stand in the way of opportunity, right? And I think that's important. You can wear whatever you want, right? And that's not a problem. But wait till you get inside of the door or in your field to want to make a change. First, just get your stuff in, and you got to sometimes do whatever it takes. So for me, appearance was totally important because I knew the corporate setting that I wanted to go into, and I knew what they judged, but I knew I couldn't make a change or rebuttal that system unless I'm already inside. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, I remember from an early age, your appearance and how you carry yourself as a man was kind of instilled into me from, of course, like my dad, and then like my brother, like my god brother. He's probably, we'll have to get him on this podcast one of these days. My god brother Al, he stressed from an early age, like, take care of yourself and your appearance, because you mentioned, you don't want to miss opportunities because you weren't, I guess, prepared for it.
Yeah.
And he said it a lot because he's a barber as well. So he's the one who told me how to cut my own hair, because he said, what happens if you get a job interview the next day, somebody just calls you randomly and offers you a job interview, and you can't get in touch with your barber? He's like, what are you going to do? He's like, are you going to miss that opportunity because you're not looking presentable, or are you going to have the tools to do it yourself? And it's a really big thing, like teaching a person to fish versus fishing for them. Like, he taught me how to cut my hair, and that's been like 13 plus years now. And he said, you always want to be able to hold your appearance in your own hands, in a sense that, hold your own appearance in your own hands so that you put out to the world what you want, Yeah. So it's been a long journey, but go ahead. I see.
No, you know what? And I agree, man. I mean, because here's the thing. Outside of just hair, like, people look at everything now, right? When they look at the appearance of you. They look at your fingernails. They look at your shoes. They look at your clothing. They look to see how well your clothing is fitting, right? I mean, there's a lot. So you have to always, like you said, you got to hold your appearance in your hand, because that's the only time that you are able to make that first impression on anybody, man. And what they say, what's that old saying? The first impression is the most lasting impression. So
they said it takes like 21 separate occasions to overcome a bad first impression. Like, you got to make up for it 21 more times. So that's how important that first impression is. But just like a funny story from, as you mentioned, like, having your nails cut. I remember, when I was like 5 or 6, my godmother, she was like, hey, if you got dirty fingernails, you're not going to get a girlfriend. And like, for some odd reason, that's stuck in my mind. Like, and to this day, like, I always keep my nails short and clean, because, she just really instilled that in me. But yeah, it's really important to kind of narrate your own story and present it the way that you want to. So let's talk a little bit about our evolution in terms of like our appearance and both the corporate setting, especially transitioning from college to the workforce, because oftentimes we go from college students wearing sweats and t-shirts to class, and then all of a sudden you get a job in the corporate world and you're expected to dress a certain way. So when you jumped into the corporate world right after graduation, what was your style like?
You know what? I didn't even own a pair of slacks, right? Or a real dress shirt or tie, right? Because like you said, we're college students, so I'm wearing basketball shorts, probably the latest shoes, So I didn't really have a lot of corporate wear or, professional wear. So my style was pretty bland, It was a shirt and a tie, maybe. But then as I got more and more into the corporate field, you had to kind of step it up a little bit. That tie and shirt goes to a whole suit, right? And then, better haircuts and, just kind of keeping yourself up from there. It really forces you to kind of elevate how you appear and how you kind of meet up to your peers, because your rest of your peers are dressing like that, and you can't kind of come under the bar dressing how you want. You got to kind of meet them where they're at. So
I think because it was very interesting for me. Like, right after I graduated and got my master's, I went straight into teaching. So at the same institution too. So like, I had like one professor that I really liked his style. So I kind of emulated him a little bit, even though I couldn't afford to at the time when I first graduated and first started teaching. Right. But I remember just going and buying just a bunch of dress shirts
Yeah.
that were like the big boxy looking dress shirts. Like,
it wasn't a slim fit kind.
and see, that's the thing. I didn't even know the difference at that time between like regular fit, slim fit, athletic fit, extra slim fit, and all of that stuff. So I was just buying, just random dress shirts. And like, I think that first year just had like a little basic rotation. But eventually I got to that point where like, okay, I'm starting to make some money. So now I'm about to start investing in my appearance, because that's another thing. Like, depending on whatever field it is that you're in, your appearance might be, even more important than working in other fields. Like for me, I think I started teaching at like 24 or 25. So I'm already having like this factor of, okay, it's a young black professor.
Yeah.
What's going to make him take you a little bit more seriously, And that's something that I had to kind of, play in my mind. What's going to make my peers take me more seriously?
You mentioned something too, man. I remember in conversations, off of mic, you were saying like, man, you dressed up so much was when you you dressed up so much when you finally did kind of dress down. People were looking at you like, yo, what's going on, bro?
Yeah, exactly. Like that was the norm. Like, because I would try to dress down a little bit on Fridays, and I wouldn't wear like the shirt and tie, and maybe just like a polo and some khakis. And like my students would come in the classroom like, yo, what's up? You all right today? Like, that's the type of energy that I would get. And like even my first semester teaching, I used to do bow ties a lot, like handmade bow ties. So I got known for that on campus with like a lot of the other faculty members and administration. And it is just a way to kind of stand out. When we always talk about like seeking out opportunities and things like that, what are you going to be known for? And on campus, I was known as a professor that dressed really nice. And that even led to me being able to teach a few seminars for like the Dress for Success for like our College of Business. So I did that for like 2 years. So, your peers, they're watching you.
Absolutely.
They're watching you. And, you can either feed them something positive, feed them something negative,
Yeah, man. And what's so important about that too, though, is when you speak about peers, is I've noticed you got to kind of change up your circle too, right? Because sometimes your circle isn't dressing like you, right? And you ever I heard this one saying that says, if you got to keep on every time you get dressed, and someone keeps asking you, where are you going? Why are you so dressed up? I think you need to change your circle, right? Because dressing up should almost be like a natural part of your day. Like for you, 9 times out of 10 you're dressed up, man. Even when you're dressed down, so even when you're dressed down, you're dressed up. So
I think that's something early on.
Okay.
Like when I first, started my career, I'm dressed up all the time. Like even going to like the store, because like you just never know who you're going to run into. Now I'm starting to see that's a little bit more important, like as a realtor, because you never know where those opportunities are going to be. Like I don't want to walk up to somebody, who's looking to sell their house, and they catch me at the store and I'm in some basketball shorts. Like, you want to, kind of represent your brand at all times, because as an entrepreneur, that's what you are. You're a walking billboard for yourself.
Wait, you got to repeat that. You got to repeat that, man. That was good, man. Repeat that one more time, bro.
Yeah. It's like, as an entrepreneur, you are a walking billboard. You represent your business and all that business encompasses. So when people see you out on the street, like, I want them to be proud and say, oh yeah, that's my realtor over there. Or yeah, that's my professor right there. And then somebody who doesn't know you look at you like, that's your realtor? in those jeans?
Right.
That look like they,
Yeah.
So that's the thing. But to nowadays though, bro, like I'm a little bit more casual.
You know what? Nowadays you are
more casual.
Yeah. I give you that, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like it's like both ends of the spectrum. Like throughout the day, I'll go through like 2 or 3 different outfits because I have all these different professions. So in the morning, I might be lecturing and I got on a full suit, and then I might get into my realtor bag, and then I take the tie off, and then I might just have like a dress shirt, some khakis, and maybe a blazer. Yeah. But then working inside this house and doing like renovations, like I'm gonna be in some basketball shorts and a t-shirt, or some shirts with paint all over it. because that's the norm.
Okay, here's a better question, right? And this is something I was thinking about. Does your appearance matter only to the people or the audience in which you're trying to capture?
I would say no.
Okay.
I would say no. I think your appearance matters only to one person, and that's you. How you want to present yourself and how you want that image to look. Because I'll say this. In education, like, even though I think, like, okay, a professor, you want to dress up real nice, come to church with suit and tie on. I mean, I've worked with some people in the past who, brilliant people. And, like, they're so focused on the research and their material that they don't care about what they're wearing to class, to teach. And that's fine. That works for them. So I think your appearance is all about how you want to portray yourself. If it's something that's important to you, it's going to come out in the way that you put money into your wardrobe and things like that. If it's not that important to you, and that doesn't move your needle for you, then you kind of show up how you want to show up. But I think, as I mentioned, like, for entrepreneurs, it has to be important, because you're constantly meeting new people. Like, in my field, the people are coming to you. Like, your students are coming to you for the lectures. But for you as a realtor, you're constantly approaching people, and you're trying to solicit business. So you have to present yourself a certain way,
man. Because what I've learned too, man, and that's real talk, because you are a constant billboard. Most of your clients are going to come from either first impressions, right? Like, people introducing you to them, or you're introducing yourself to them. And if you're not up to par, man, you can either lose a potential client or, gain a potential client, just depending on your appearance, man. And it is important. I've seen people lose out on clients because they wasn't up to par. I've seen people literally get a great client, but they turn him down because they felt like, well, if he dressed like this, and he thinks, and he doesn't really take care of his physical, how can he really help me out on what it is I'm looking for? Just paying attention to details.
Like you said, it's like, in this ideal world, we wouldn't be judged by these things, but knowing that that's how the world operates, and those are metrics that the world does use to kind of formulate an opinion, whether right or wrong, it is what it is. And knowing that, it's up to us to kind of abide by those rules if we're trying to level up. And as messed up as it is, we get treated differently also based on what we wear. I used to do these little experiments in Macomb where, like, I would go to the same store, and, like, I would go in, like, after I got off work one day and, be fully dressed up. The level of customer service and the level of smiles that you get is unmatched. Everybody's your best friend there. Like, hey, what can I get you? Yada, yada, yada. But you go in there, like, just leaving, like, the gym or getting ready to go to the gym in, like, your basketball shorts, and they just treat you differently. You know what? Here's the thing. You're right. No, you're right. Here's the thing. You even do it to your friends and not know it, right? Like for me, if I see my friends dressed up, most of the time, like, you're just a little bit more professional. Even you could have just saw them get dressed, in a suit or whatever, and you'll still change up how you treat them. It's just like, man, when you see someone in a suit or someone who's dressed up, you do tend to kind of give them a little bit more, I don't want to say respect, but that's really what it is, right? Like, yeah, you just treat people who are dressed up a little bit more differently, and maybe it's a psychological thing. It's something that we just don't even recognize that we're doing, but I don't know. I don't know, bro. But I do want to kind of go back and start talking about, like, the little evolution, I guess, to where you're at now. So how has your attention to your appearance kind of changed as you've transitioned from, like, the corporate world to where you're at now as, like, a full-time entrepreneur? Or has it changed at all? No, it really hasn't, man. Maybe. Well, I guess you was always dressing up beforehand anyways, though. Yeah. Like on the podcast, I kind of dress down because this is the time I can kind of dress down. Yeah. But, yeah, dude, I always dressed up, man, even at work, because... First off, I was downtown. I was in the heart of downtown. So you never know when the opportunity may
come, right? So you have to stay on point at all times, right? There's nothing but business people, millionaires, and net people that's trying to network down there, right? So you just never know who you might run into on your lunch break or whatever. So I kind of kept that same energy, and transferred it over to what I do now, to real estate, because when you're presenting a house, if I show up to a house in a polo shirt and some slacks, and I'm trying to sell somebody on a $5 million house, it's that outfit doesn't fit that occasion. And you have to kind of fit. You got to kind of fit the mold. So you got to dress up in a suit and show off that $1 million house. People like to associate the people that they're working with the product that they're trying to buy. So
yeah. I'm just thinking, like you said, that was just like the perfect example of, like, if I'm trying to sell a $5 million house, and I'm showing up in a $30 outfit, I'm most likely going to, if I'm trying to get that bid, I'm most likely going to lose it.
Yeah.
Because for some, and once again, it just really goes back to, like you said perfectly, the ideal world versus the real world.
Absolutely.
And in the real world, that's just not going to cut it. It just isn't.
Yeah. Have you ever been in a situation where you didn't know how to dress for the occasion? Maybe it was something out of your comfort zone?
Not necessarily. Like, for me, sometimes, like, if I'm getting ready to present, I'm like, okay, I might have some pastel colors. Like, maybe I should stay away from that. But what I love about, so my fraternity, we have what's called, like, alpha attire, for every occasion. So alpha attire is just a black suit, white shirt, black tie. It works for every occasion. So, like, they always tell you, and this is something I talked about, like, in my Dress for Success presentation. If you're ever in doubt, you just conservative.
Yeah.
Either a black suit, white shirt, black tie, dark blue suit, dark gray suit.
Yeah.
Like, those are your go-tos.
Yeah.
So your staples. Like, in my closet, I think every man should have at least 5 white dress shirts.
Yeah, in rotation.
At least 5 of them. Just because, like, that's something that's really interchangeable, like, with all of your outfits.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, when it really comes down to, like, your appearance, for me, I learned a lot along the way from just older guys who dress nice. Like, even on campus, one of our good friends, Jarrell, he was always suited.
Every day.
And, I reached out to him when I first started teaching, like, hey, where can I go to get some clothes? And like I said, my god brother, I reached out to him, like, hey, what should I do? He actually bought me my first suit, my god brother.
Really?
He gave it to me as like a birthday present. I don't know if he just forgot it was my birthday and just decided, like, yo, just went down into the closet, was like, hey, this is
like,
what I
there
got
you
for
go.
you.
Yeah.
But it really stressed, whether intentionally or not, how important it was. He used to take me to these meetings with him. So he was an entrepreneur. This program's called BNI, and it was like a lot of different entrepreneurs. They would get together and talk business and exchange, referrals and stuff like that. So he used to take me with him to that, and he used to say, "Look how this person's dressing. Look how this person's dressing. Look how that person's dressed," and it really helped me to get that understanding of how important your presentation is. You can be saying all the right things, but if you don't look the part, like you said earlier, people aren't going to really take you too serious.
So,
and, those are just lessons I had to learn early.
So here's the thing that I got. Does the appearance matter? Is it a social class thing? Right? Because it seems like the billionaires of the world aren't too much concerned with the way that they look appearance-wise. It usually seems like it's the people, the middle class. I know that's a conversation for another day, but,
Well, I think it kind of fits. I think when you get to a certain level, you don't really care about what anybody has to say. Like, if I'm Mark Zuckerberg and somebody's trying to tell me how to run my business because I'm dressed in, a plain white T-shirt, that doesn't make, he's already there, Yeah. He's already there. This is the place that we're trying to strive to. And a lot of the times, for me personally, I think I do care about what other people think, but it's also just the way I want to carry myself. So they don't have to tell me how to dress. I'm going to show up like I'm supposed to show up regardless, because that's important to me. And I think that's why I said your appearance really only matters to one person, and that's yourself. As long as you're comfortable in the skin that you're in and how you're presenting yourself, that's all that matters. Will some opportunities come? Will some opportunities fade away? You know, that's the real world that we live in. But as long as you show up authentically yourself, that should be all that matters at the end of the day.
Oh.
Like I shouldn't feel like I'm compromising myself, you know?
Absolutely,
But
man. And that's,
luckily, I just love to dress up. I think this is like I said, we'll have to put like a poll
Yeah.
or something to see, like, with our listeners and our viewers, how important is your appearance in the field that you're in? Do you feel that your appearance is very important? Do you feel that you can show up with whatever, you know, pink hair and everything? Like, can you do that in your job or your profession? So we would love to get some feedback from you guys and let us know, you know, your thoughts on this topic. Do you agree, disagree with some of the stuff that we said? We'd love to have some dialogue. And maybe this is even something, Glenn, that you and I can maybe do like an IG Live and bring some people on and get some feedback. I think that'd be really good.
Yeah, man, I'm here for it, bro. And that's another episode of the Woofin' and Doctor podcast. I'm your host, Glenn Curry, alongside my co-host, Dr. John Devereaux. And whatever you guys are listening on, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below.